Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Shadow Adept Spellsword build guide in Baldur's Gate 3. This is a mod that just got added to console yesterday. The mod is made by Gawesome and it is awesome. So for this level 20 build, we'll be focusing on shadowy tactics and hiding around. Now this gives us the ability to weapon bond, which gives us enhanced accuracy. If it's a light weapon, it gets the thrown property, but later on we can also add the thrown property to any weapon, making this a great throwing build. We also get the throw bonded weapon and the spell forged armor, which allows you to add your spell casting modifier instead of dexterity when using medium armor, and light armor allows you to add half your spell casting modifier down, rounded down to AC. And that uses the Eldritch points there, which is the unique ability here. We get 3 of them at level 1 here, and these refresh at long rest. The Arcane Armory gives us the weapon bond and spell forge armor. Calculated Coercion uses intelligence instead of charisma when using intimidation rolls. Eldritch Inspiration, you're able to use Arcane Fervor to generate Eldritch point reductions, and you'll see what this all means when I do the combat section. Enclosed Cantrips, when active, it enhances your non-melee cantrips when they're cast within 5 feet of your target, so you don't get disadvantage using some things like Firebolt, and you leave behind a volatile sigil on hit, significantly increasing the spell's damage potential. This is a really fun class mod. Now, for our cantrips, Ray of Frost, pretty nice. I like Minor Illusion for this build in particular because we're going to be more stealthy based in a sense. And also Bone Chill is really great too. Stop target from getting healing. Our ability scores as follows: Strength 8, Dexterity 16, 14 Constitution, 16 Intelligence, and 10 Wisdom and Charisma. Now I'll also be covering the gear for this build as well as going over combat, and I'll be using just base game armor. So at level 2 here, we get ourselves the Eldritch Point, increased by 1, and we get the Eldritch Strike. So enhance a bonded weapon by channeling a damaging cantrip into it. On its next hit, the normal cantrip damage and effects will be applied to your weapon damage. So you can infuse your blade with like a Ray of Frost, a Bone Chill, and then your weapon attacks will deal the cantrip damage on top of it. A bonded weapon must be equipped to be able to do this, and you cannot have multiple enchantments on a single weapon at a time. You can only have more than 2 weapons at any time. So as for the spells we'll be selecting, Shield, always a good spell to have. And it's tempting to take the smites, however, they do use your bonus action, so it might be better to go with something like Thunderwave for the pushback, because this will at least give you similar effects, but without using up your spell's bonus action, so you can use that for other things. Our Armor of Agathis is also really nice, but getting the pushback from Thunderwave is extremely effective at taking people out. Now we get to choose our fighting style. +1 armor class is always nice, however, if you're using sword and shield, dueling can be nice. If you're using a 2-handed weapon, the great weapon fighting can be nice. And if you're going to use dual weapons, this can also be good. But I think defense gives us the biggest benefit. It also has the Arcane Warrior. After attacking an enemy with a light one-handed weapon in one hand, you may cast a bonus action Swift Cantrip with your empty offhand. So this is good if you're going to use the Duelist Prerogative weapon. But we're going to be using a bit of a different setup here. And I'll show you a few different weapons that we can use. So we get ourselves another spell here, and we get to pick our subclass. So you can take the smites if you want to. The Wrathful Smite might be the best choice because it can frighten the target potentially. Longstrider is also a good spell to take, but subclass. The Elementalist is nice because this gives you elemental smites. However, the Shadow Adept gives us the Darklands magic, so we get Inflict Wounds, Shadow Blade, Vampiric Touch, Phantasmal Killer, and Banishing Smite. We also get the Born in the Dark. So you gain dark vision. When heavily or lightly obscured, you gain several benefits. So you get to increase your attack damage and armor class. In bonded weapons and thrown attacks along with spells deal necrotic or psychic damage. They deal bonus necrotic damage equal to your proficiency bonus, and they trigger the Eldritch Mark detonations at range. You also get Shadow Rift. So open a rift to the shadowy plane. This can blind everyone except for yourself, and all the nearby flames are extinguished and everyone within the area is heavily obscured. While in this space, all level spells deal necrotic or psychic damage. Roll their damage with advantage, so more damage, always good. And we get ourselves Inflict Wounds as a spell. Now at level 5, we get another Eldritch Point here. We also get another choice of cantrips, so you can take like Shocking, or Ray of Frost, or Firebolt, or Shocking Grasp there, and you can infuse those into your weapon again. We also only get level 1 spells at this level here, so you could take like Searing Smite if you wanted to for a little bit extra damage. This does require concentration, so even Thunder Smite might be a bit better of a choice if you want something a little different. We already do got that, so Longstrider also works. Those are, I guess, the best choices that we got. And we're going to take up our intelligence to 18 with an ability score improvement, just because that's going to impact our damage and our it's going to impact the attack rolls and our armor class too. Then we get the Sigil Stalker. You learn the Eldritch Mark spell and have it prepared. You can cast it for free 3 times per day. This benefits as you get higher Spellsword levels. And we get the Bound Weapon enhancement. So with your Bound Weapon, you can add light, finesse, or thrown properties to it. Finesse is nice because then you can use dexterity on rolls for really any weapon in the game if you wanted to. And then we get for spells, we get ourselves the Eldritch Mark, which we can apply to a target and it can detonate, dealing 1d10 or 1d8 force damage in a 10-foot radius. And yeah, I'll show you what this all ends up looking like because it is pretty effective, and you get a free cast of it using the Eldritch Mark free cast resource. We also get the Shadow Blade here at this level. This does require concentration, but you can do a little glitch to make a permanent version of it. Now for our spells, we start to get level 2 spells, and Hold Person is going to be one of the best choices. Now we get much better spells here, so it's good. At level 6, we get the Martial Magic. You can make a standard attack and cast a cantrip when taking your action. This is not stacked with any sources of extra attack, so further increasing our overall damage output there. At level 7, we get ourselves Blade Dash. Throw your bonded weapon and teleport to it immediately. You gain the effects of Blur for 2 turns. We also get another Eldritch Point. And for a cantrip here, Shocking Grasp can be nice to make it so the target cannot use reactions. And we got ourselves another spell. Branding Smite can be nice. Misty Step is also good, but we do have a different version that allows us to teleport to shadowy spots. Mirror Image is nice to increase our armor class by 9. This can make us pretty unhittable. And Scorching Ray, tried and true, always a good spell to have. At level 8 here, we get ourselves another Eldritch Point, another spell, which we'll take Scorching Ray with. And we're going to get another feat, which we can use to max out our intelligence here. And then once we get ourselves to the next level, we get ourselves the Eldritch Points. We also get Vampiric Touch and another level spell, with level 3 spells being unlocked. We also have things like the Lightning Bolt, Haste, which is always a good thing to have. Elemental Weapon, Fear. I think that Lightning Bolt's great because it can hit in a straight line, which is super useful if you got enemies lined up. Level 10 gives us another Eldritch Point, and we get the Shadowfell Form, transfer your body granting qualities associated with Shadow. You gain access to Shadow Walk and have damage reduction 5 against all forms of damage except Radiant and Force, and when casting a spell that deals necrotic or involves Shadow or Psychic based effects, you may do an extra melee attack. This uses a bonus action. Pretty good. For our next spell, we can go with Acid Splash there. Although using a Mage Hand can be nice because you can get it to throw water balls instead of for Lightning Bolt for extra damage. At level 12, you get the Arcane Flourish. Using a weapon action, infuse your bonded weapon with a fiery blue font of magic, and you channeled throw that lasts a number of turns equal to 1 plus your character's proficiency bonus. And we get another spell, with Counterspell being a really useful spell to take. Haste again being another nice one, and even Glyph of Warding can be somewhat useful to have. At level 12, another Eldritch Point and another spell. So at this point, even Slow can be pretty good. It's literally makes some enemies pretty useless. You could also go with the Blinding Smite, which can blind a target. It does use up your bonus action, but it does 3d8 extra radiant damage. Glyph of Warding is just so useful to have, so we're going to go with that. And for our spell or speed, we can go with the Initiative +5 from Alert and Cannot Be Surprised. Even going with, this is something that's interesting, Tavern Brawler actually works out well here because we got benefits to throwing weapons, and we can make any weapon a throwing weapon. You could also make your Constitution 15, take it up to 16 with that. Eldritch Point at level 13 here, and we get the Phantasmal Killer spell. Then we get level 4 spells, with Ice Storm being a great one. Non-concentration based crowd control. Ice surfaces, makes people slip. At level 14, we get the Spellsword Adept. You can gain advantage on attacks against targets that have Eldritch Mark. Arcane Strikes apply now, do Volatile Sigil when close cantrips are active. And Ethereal Pirouette's teleportation is now 20 feet. So a bit further range on that. So nice buffs across the board here. At level 15, we get the subclass feature Dweller in Darkness. Your convection to the Shadowfell has reached its maximum potential. You gain Greater Shadow Rift and receive the following benefits when standing in a Shadow Rift. You gain the Greater Shadow Walk and Long Shadow features. And the damage reduction granted by Born in the Dark is doubled. So up 10. And then you get the Greater Shadow Rift, which allows you to make 3 rifts. Pretty good. And we also get some more spells. Ever's Black Tentacles kind of works well. It creates difficult terrain and kind of fits thematically for this build. Wall of Fire is also a nice spell to have. These both require concentration, so it's up to you which of these you prefer, bludgeoning or the fire damage. I'm going to go with the Ever's Black Tentacles just because it's nice and fits thematically. Level 16, another Eldritch Point and another feat. And at this point, we can go with the Alert to give us that increased initiative, as we want to go first to set up our darkness. At level 17 here, we get another Eldritch Point, and we get Banishing Smite, which is a nice force damage bonus to our attacks. Does require concentration, so it's a heads up. And we get one of my favorite spells with Cone of Cold, and Hold Monster is also really good, but that 8d8 of cold damage is huge because it can be doubled. And then once we get to level 18, we get ourselves Overwhelming Arcane Strike. When this is active, this enhances your Arcane Strike when you imbue a weapon with a cantrip. After striking your opponent, your enhanced weapon will now deliver the cantrip effects until the end of the next turn. Really good. So yeah, Bone Chill, powerful. Level 19, we get ourselves another feat here. Savage attack for rerolling melee attacks can be really good. If you want, you can also just go with a dexterity improvement, or I'm using a strength potion here just because we're going to be doing a throwing build, but you can even bump up your dexterity a little bit if you wanted to. There's a few different choices. This will give you better AC. And at level 20, be at the Spellsword Mastery. You've mastered the Spellsword's blend of martial and spellcasting prowess. You gain 5 Eldritch points after a short rest, and when Arcane Fervor's match stacks, after applying an Eldritch point discount to Inspiration, you may continue to take advantage of that discount until the end of your next turn. So yeah, I'll show off what this ends up meaning in actual combat, but also you see here we got this nice little darkness at our feet. So for gear, as far as gear options go, Hood of the Weave will give us better spell casting, although the Helmet of Arcane Acuity is a great Act 1 item to go with. Cloak Protection, better armor class. Ballast Armor, this will give us an increased damage, because anytime we deal piercing damage, it'll be doubled because of this. However, early game, you can go with whatever light or medium armor you're able to find. There's no real best. Luminous Armor could be kind of nice if you're able to, I guess that's not really meant for here, but I guess anything that's going to give you a decent armor class will be nice. The Armor of Agility will be another one. This gives our armor class up to 30, but it ends up being better to go with the Ballast Armor for higher damage. And Hellas Gloves are just made for this, giving us incredible increased spell attack roll, spell save DC, and fire damage on our melee attacks. And then also going with the Evasive Shoes, the Ring of Protection and Killer Sweetheart for increased critical hits, or another critical hit and increased armor class. Amulet of Greater Health gives us 223 health. Hellrider Longbow for +3 initiative. And the Crimson Mischief is a great late game weapon, although the Returning Pike can be good early game, or really any dagger, because you can add the thrown property pretty early on. What's nice about this is whenever we attack with advantage, we do additional 7 piercing damage, which ends up being 14 extra with our Ballast Armor. However, the Sharp Spear of the Evening also works kind of well, because this will give us a advantage on saving throws when lightly or heavily obscured, and the weapon deals additional damage when we're lightly or heavily obscured, and you also can be blinded, although we also have that effect from the spell. The Spellsword. This one ends up being pretty good for this because we're all about darkness. This also gives us an attack that'll set up darkness that we can hide out in with the Edge of Darkness. And we also got Viconia's Walking Fortress. So this is late game armor. Go with the best shield that you got available. And this is obviously a weapon you get at the end of Act 2. So it's pretty powerful too. Now you can see there, we got our darkness below us. So I'll show off what this is like in combat here. I also forgot to mention using the Spellforged armor will give us 29 armor class because it'll add half our dexterity modifier to this, which makes it pretty good. You could push the dexterity higher to get this even higher, but that's pretty nice because it's going to add our +2 from Spellforged armor, which is from our intelligence, so it's really useful. All right, so in combat, we got ourselves some nice crowd control. So we got like Edward's Black Tentacles, Ice Storm to slow people down, and then we also have our Greater Shadow Rift, which is a big focus of this build. Now, I guess to get things started here, we'll just go with a bit of damage, so I'll just drop an Ice Storm because that's just nice, difficult terrain that we can set up. But then I'm going to go and show off the darkness abilities because that's where we really get our biggest benefits from. So once we're in combat, we got our Shadow Rifts here, so we can initiate by creating these Greater Shadow Rifts. So there we have our Shadow Rift there, and this gives it the Sharp Blessing of Darkness. So we get some nice extra effects here. We also go black and white, kind of funny. So yeah, we have this ability that's kind of our domain here. And then we also can use any of these abilities. Ethereal Pirouette. What's nice about the Greater Shadow Rift is you got this whole zone here to kind of be your camp, so you can hide out in here. And you have 5 turns of this Shadow Rift here, so we'll get to using it pretty effectively. I guess there's the most enemies that can get hit with this Cone of Cold here, so this is gonna be nice. Use the spells. Nope, counterspelled, of course. That took that target out. That's okay. Use up our action there, but we could also go with the Eldritch Mark here, so we can apply this to an enemy, and we'll just go ahead and apply it on this target that's closest to us. So again, Eldritch Mark will deal a force damage when we take them out and make an explosion, and we get a nice extra boost to our damage here. So we can also imbue our weapon with the arcane, or whatever cantrip that we got here. So if we want to impact this by using like a Bone Chill, we can apply this to our weapon, which is kind of the focus of this because we're necrotic damage based. So we'll roll with that there. We're also really hard to hit with a 31 armor class now. So you can see there, they're struggling real hard with hitting us. We are pretty much untouchable in our little domain here, which is fun. So you can really camp out and dominate a certain section of the map. So we're surrounded here, but the nice thing is anytime that we're in our shadow, we can just run away and not get hit with opportunity attacks. So that works pretty well. And we also got ourselves the Thunderwave spell, which can let us just yeet a lot of these guys off the cliffs here. So that can be a really good option, because anytime that you're able to just completely take an enemy out by knocking them off of a ledge, that's going to be a good option for you. So sometimes you do have to set up and find a better positioning for it, because you want to obviously take out as many as you can with this. So I'm just trying to set this up properly so that we hit as many as possible off the ledge. There we go. I got a spot here with 3 of them hopefully getting knocked out, and only one of them got hit. That's fine. That's the nature of that. But now we got ourselves the we got the throwing attacks, and we also have the blink or blade tash, which we can throw a weapon and we'll teleport to it. So selecting our weapon here, we can throw the spear, and then we teleport right to them. That had multiple critical hits there. And then we got ourselves the martial magic, which allows us to cast a cantrip now after doing a weapon attack. So we can follow that up with like a shocking grasp here, and you see we got advantage on our attacks, so that's nice. Or we can go with a firebolt or even a bone chill. What's nice about bone chill is whenever we do this, we can also apply the close cantrips here, which will increase and not give us that disadvantage on it. So we'll go ahead, hit them with this, and it's going to deal additional damage on top of it. 61 for that. So it's the nice thing. Anytime we're doing necrotic or psychic damage, we're going to hit hard. So the Shadow Blade actually works very well here. But you can even see, like, I'm doing a bit of psychic damage with the your Illithid ability, and it does a ton of damage there. So yeah, we got ourselves a bonus action here now. So another nice thing is if you're an Illithid, you do get a lot of fun effects. We also got the long shadow here. Your shadows become an extension of yourself. When enabled, you must be standing one of your rifts and casting qualifying spell. These spells cannot be cast. So you can see here, this is going to buff up our vampiric touch as well. You can also dismiss the shadow rift you want, or you can use greater shadow walk to teleport around in it. So that's pretty nice. You got a free little teleport here, and then also you can teleport using ethereal pirouette. So yeah, that was not bad of a turn. We do have a bonus action. We could use a mind blast, but I will leave it for another turn. Psionic backlash will give us that extra necrotic damage. Anytime you do psychic, you do a bit extra necrotic. So now we'll use our Shadowfell form, which will give us increased benefits while we're hiding out here. You can see we got a lot of stuff here, so this gives us even further armor class increases. And yeah, we can pretty much do anything when we're inside of our shadows. And there's some that will just stay away from the shadows because they're afraid. So with this is a pretty good chance to hit multiple targets with a lightning bolt. So again, anytime that you can hit a ton of enemies with a single weapon or a single spell, like we're hitting 7 enemies there, that's crazy. So yeah, anytime you get these weird setups where the enemies are just in a very straight line, use your spells and go hard with them. So this is going to be the most optimal way to take out this turn. As you can see there, we took out 7 enemies in 1 turn, and yeah, that's pretty crazy. We have just another enemy left standing here. Wild. And we Psionic Backlash them out of the combat. So yeah, I guess a big part of this is our blade dash. So we got some teleportation. We also got throwing. I didn't even get into throwing because the throwing aspect of this is really strong. So if you throw your bonded weapon, it's not even showing up my weapon there, unfortunately, but yeah, whenever you have that, it should be able to throw your main hand weapon there, and then you can go ahead with attacking with that. So yeah, greater rifts of darkness are really effective just for the overall, like, your survivability, but also the damage that you're able to output. And we got some extra guards there. That's fine. We'll go against them here. So with our long shadow, we do extra damage whenever we apply some of these spells. So on this target here, we'll go ahead with our inflict wounds, which will, yeah, do a ton of damage there. We should have probably did an Eldritch Mark whenever we cast that, but yeah, I guess we'll go with a Eldritch Mark on this target here. And yeah, with that long shadow, it really enhances your overall damage. I guess I don't have haste anymore, so that's something. But yeah, you get a lot of damage with that, and we can also imbue our weapons at any point, so it's always a good idea to throw that bone chill on. So our Greater Rift is gone, and we lost our Eldritch points. So that's where the Shar Spear comes in handy, because then you can just create a portable little pocket of darkness here. I'll eat that opportunity attack, 'cause it's lightly not going to hit. Yeah, and it didn't. And then we'll drop down this darkness here for a little bit extra survivability. So that's nice, because this allows us to further enhance our options. And then we'll go with a bone chill on this target here. We also have the melee cantrips on, which is fine, because this is probably going to take them out. Oh, didn't. That's fine. And yeah, we'll just go ahead here with that for our turn. And in this pocket of darkness, they don't know what to do, so both of them ran behind me here. It's perfect, because then we can set up just to drop like a spell down on top of them. And trying to see, yeah, we got this here. It's going to hit me too. That's fine, because I've barely even been hit. And I took out one of them. Perfect. And then we can follow it up with our... I guess we can't do a close cantrip. This requires an action, but yeah, not a bad turn, because it creates a surface and we have somewhere to hide. And again, this enemy does not know what to do, so they're just going to run around here, which is fine, and they'll run and then dash afterwards for whatever reason, which lets us just go ahead and we can just hit him with a banishing smite here to take him completely out, because that's just easily going to be a knockout. So yeah, that is the Spellsword Shadow Adept mod made by Gawesome. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one.